This video is part of the Puzzle Advent Calendar, an awesome collaboration between a bunch of different puzzle creators and some of the best cubing YouTubers out there. During the month of December, we present you 24 different puzzles, some of them twisty puzzles, some of them mechanical puzzles. Check out the playlist in the description so you can watch all of the previous videos. Also, make sure you're subscribed to Mr. Puzzle so you don't miss out on tomorrow's video. I thought a long time about what kind of puzzle to show in the Advent Calendar this year. In the end, I settled on a pretty ambitious project for a paper puzzle, but I'm getting ahead of myself. As always, after I had a rough idea of what I wanted, I started up Onshape and got designing. I will use a technique very common in 3D printed puzzles, but I never tried it out because it seemed too daunting. But by now, I have built many of the puzzles with easy mechanisms, so I think it's time to dive into this new concept. Today's puzzle is the first paper puzzle that uses shells in its mechanism. So the basic idea behind a mechanism with shells is that you can combine the movement of two puzzles into one. There is an inner core that represents the movement of the first puzzle, and on top of that, there is another layer that introduces the second puzzle's movement. If this sounds too confusing, let me just show you. To start off easy with this concept, I used two very easy puzzles, which will be combined into one complex puzzle. The inner mechanism is that of a 1x1x2, so that one is easy enough. You can see it here, there are basically two hexagonal prisms that can be rotated along this axis. Next, we want to make this puzzle a bit more interesting, so we combine it with a puzzle that basically works like my octagonal star from about 2 years ago. You can see the movement of that puzzle here, and if we now look at the CAD plans, this part of the mechanism also looks pretty easy. No, please don't close the video yet, now comes the interesting part. We can now take both of these mechanisms and combine them into one big puzzle. This looks way more interesting right away. Let's take a quick look at how this mechanism works. Here in the middle we can see the axis of the 1x1x2. And here, further out, we can see the mechanism needed for the octagonal star-like movement. Now, it is pretty obvious why this technique is called shells. The 1x1x2 mechanism is completely contained here on the inside, while the second mechanism only appears if we move away far from the center. Okay, enough with the puzzle design lesson, I promise. Let's build this bad boy. First, I created the folding plans, and once that was done, I printed the pieces and got to work cutting them out. But before we do that, I want to take a moment to just enjoy these marvelous shots of the folding plans. You may have noticed that the video quality of this video is unparalleled in any of my other videos. And that is because my friend over at JYBmedia helped me out with this project. He's doing truly amazing photography and videography, so if you're into that, please go ahead and check out his work. I'll leave a link to his YouTube and Insta accounts in the description. They are really worth checking out. Anyways, we have to continue building this puzzle. After cutting the pieces out, I usually cut slightly into every fold, just so folding is a bit easier and the folds look a lot cleaner. I then started building the centers, which are a bit finicky because I forgot to add glue tabs on the pieces, but don't worry, if you want to build this puzzle as well, they are included in the template. After fiddling around with the centers for longer than I'm comfortable admitting, I got them to stick together and I was finally able to continue with this hexagonal prism that had to be glued onto the center like this. Once both centers were done, they were combined with my usual mechanism for these face-to-face connections. That is, cut a hole into one of the pieces, glue a few small circles on the other, followed by a bigger circle to hold the pieces together. Now the centers are already done and we can continue with the outer pieces. These pieces are pretty straightforward, but before I glue any of them shut, I insert some magnets just to get the puzzle to be a bit more stable. Now I can close the pieces, and the only thing that's left to do now is to assemble this beauty. Isn't it wonderful? If I now turn this puzzle, the movement we talked about earlier becomes even more apparent. These big flat faces can turn, and also we can turn these tips here. So I tried to solve this puzzle off camera, but I wasn't able to get it done, so I can only show you some random turns here. If you think you can solve this puzzle, I invite you to build it yourself and send me a picture of your puzzle, or even a video of you solving it. It would be great to see how other people's version turns out, and if there's anything unclear, just write a comment down below and I'll try to help out. If you want to build this puzzle yourself, simply go to the description. There is a link where you can download this puzzle and many others of my puzzles. For tomorrow's entry of the Puzzle Advent Calendar, make sure you're subscribed to Mr. Puzzle, and if you haven't already, go ahead and watch the previous entries of the Puzzle Advent Calendar. The playlist is linked in the description. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like, and if you want to see more videos like this, subscribe. See you in my next video.